Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that, well, it kind of goes against everything our modern world screams at us. We're talking about the incredible freedom you can find in not knowing.
So let me ask you something. Just think about it for a second. When was the last time you said the words, I don't know, and actually felt good about it? I mean, really good. In a world where we have every answer right in our pocket, admitting you don't know can feel like, well, like you're failing, right? But what if I told you it's not a weakness? What if it's actually a superpower?
And look, if you feel that way, it's not just you. It's not a personal failing. It's totally cultural. We're all living under this invisible pressure to have all the answers. We're going to call it the tyranny of knowing. So let's dive in and see what that's all about. So, this tyranny, it's built on these ideas that are just drilled into us from day one. The idea that knowledge is something you collect like currency, that being an expert is like wearing a suit of armor. But think about the real cost of pretending we know it all. It's just exhausting. It breeds anxiety, it makes us a little dishonest, and worst of all, it slams the door shut on new ideas. Our conversations stop being about learning and start being about, well, just being right.
And this is what happens. We end up building these huge walls around the little patch of stuff we think we know. All our energy goes into defending that territory, right? And that leaves absolutely zero room for actual exploration. We're not really learning anymore. We're just sorting information to see if it fits with what we already believe.
Okay, so what's the way out of this? What's the alternative? Well, that's where the freedom of uncertainty comes in. And listen, this is a really important distinction. It's about choosing to wander. You're not lost. You're just open, open to whatever you might find. And just to be clear, this is not about being ignorant on purpose. It's actually a very active, very powerful state of mind. There's a concept in Zen Buddhism that captures it perfectly. It's called Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. The idea is that you approach any subject with this real openness, this eagerness, and a total lack of preconceptions, even if you're already a world-class expert. This idea is ancient. It has these super deep philosophical roots. Just think about Socrates. When he said, I know that I know nothing, he wasn't throwing in the towel. For him, admitting that was the key. It was the first, absolutely essential, and totally liberating step toward any kind of real wisdom. It's the starting line, not the finish line. Okay, so what do you actually get out of this? What are the real, tangible rewards for embracing the unknown? Well, they're huge. We're talking about unlocking genuine curiosity, finding a sense of wonder again, and maybe most importantly, forging much, much deeper connections with other people. Let's start with curiosity, because think about it. An answer you already have is basically a closed door. The conversation's over. But a question? A question that comes from a place of, I really don't know? Now that is a door swinging wide open, just begging you to step through and see what's on the other side. Next up, wonder. You know that feeling? Wonder just explodes in that space between what we know and the sheer vastness of what we don't. It's what lets us just experience the world. To just look at a sunset and feel it before our brain immediately jumps in to explain the atmospheric scattering of light particles. It's about feeling it first. And number 3, and this one's a big one, we build real connection. Imagine two people in a conversation, both just defending what they're certain about. It's not a conversation, it's a battle, right? But what happens when those same two people can say, you know what, I'm not sure? Suddenly, the fight is over. The debate becomes a shared journey of discovery. You're building a bridge, not a wall. Okay, this all sounds really nice, right? But how do you actually do it? How do we start wandering in a world that wants us to march in a straight line? Let's get practical and look at a few simple things you can do to bring this beginner's mind into your everyday life. It really boils down to 4 simple practices. First one is easy to say, hard to do. Just pause. Before you reflexively grab your phone to Google something, just wait. Second, when you're in a conversation, really listen to understand. Don't just wait for your turn to talk while you cook up your perfect reply. Third, ask why. Not to poke holes in someone's argument, but because you genuinely want to learn. And finally, let yourself do things without a plan. Just observe or draw or write without needing a perfect finished product at the end. And what this all leads to, ultimately, isn't a rejection of knowledge at all. Not even close. It's about building a whole new relationship with it, one that's healthier, more flexible, and way more dynamic. And this brings us to a really, really important distinction. There's knowledge, and then there's knowing. Knowledge is amazing. It's this dynamic, constantly evolving tool that helps us grow. But knowing That's different. That's the rigid, brittle claim that says, I've arrived, I've got it all figured out. See the difference? Real knowledge loves questions, but that state of knowing, it tries to shut them down.
So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you're hit with a question and you don't have the answer, just try this. Pause. Don't rush to fill the silence. Just sit with it for a second. Try to feel the potential that's actually in that space. Because in that pause, there's a kind of freedom that is so much deeper and more profound than any quick answer could ever be.
It's the freedom of not having all the answers, of not having arrived. It's the freedom of being forever and joyfully on the way. And so the real question to leave you with is this: what incredible, life-changing door could you open if you just gave yourself permission to admit you don't have the key?